May I come in, sir? May I come in?
Yes, please come. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please sit down.
Yes, sir.
Prashant, introduce yourself very briefly.
Yes, sir. So my name is Prashant Sharma. I was born in village Silana in 𝐍𝐄𝐗𝐓 district of Haryana. Sir, I've had the privilege of growing up in 6 cities in India, and I'm familiar with the diversity that this beautiful country offers. So I've done Bachelor's in Engineering, Electrical Electronics from BITS Pilani Goa campus, post which I've worked for 3.5 years in an equity research firm. And currently, sir, I am in NEXT IAS Cleared Civil Service Examination 2020.
Very good. Prashant, you mentioned you had the privilege of witnessing and understanding and probably appreciating also the diversity. How diversity helps a society? Because sometimes you get the feeling that is diversity becoming a burden, or we do not know how to manage it, and as a result we are losing out on its benefits. How do you see diversity helping a society and a nation?
So since I have also witnessed diversity, I've stayed in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Delhi, Haryana. So I think diversity enriches a society. Diversity makes it interesting.
What qualities it adds to human behavior?
So I think diversity makes people more tolerant because they see that not everyone around them are as similar as theirs. So they understand differences amongst people. And diversity is one thing which makes a society tolerant. And I certainly think that this is true for the Indian society also. And sir, even in economic sense, diversity also adds value in terms of tourism also. That a more diverse
Connected with this, there is an approach which says inclusive approach.
Yes, sir.
To development, to politics, to economy, to society. How have we been migrating the strength of diversity into success of inclusion?
So diversity, since it's a salient aspect of India, it has also led to greater inclusion. First of all, sir, since so many diverse sections are present, so politically they tend to get represented also because of the significant population of different groups we have in India. Secondly, sir, at policy level also we have taken steps to ensure that diverse sections are represented because we have a policy of affirmative action in India through which we have ensured representation to diverse sections in India. And thirdly, sir, we also have specific ministries like Ministry of Women and Child Development.
In fact, India's diversity is very unique.
Yes, sir.
Unlike many other places. And that uniqueness is the cross-cutting linkages which this diversity creates. So it becomes a web.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now you said affirmative action and there are enabling provisions to ensure that diversity is represented.
Yes, sir.
In our systems. Has it over the years improved, stagnated, diluted?
Sir, improved as in, can you repeat?
In terms of this aspect being integrated with policy formulation and execution, which means where the diversity is truly represented in policy formulation and execution and society's overall perception. Now that strength which we got over years, hundreds and hundreds of years, now tell me, post-independence over a period of time, have those instruments been strengthened, stagnated or weakened?
So in my opinion, these instruments have strengthened over the course of time. One of the reasons...
Couple of examples.
Yes, sir. So for example, at a societal level, we could say that majority of Indian cities have been seeing a lot of migration from other parts of India. So they are becoming more diverse. Secondly, sir, urbanization is happening in India at a rapid pace, which is connected to the first point. And urbanization has many different communities living together. So I think the tolerance level has increased. And so even at policy level, we could see diverse sections getting represented.
One more question, since
sir.
You are in economics.
Yes, sir. Optional economics.
Yes. Particularly now post-pandemic, three major challenges to the global economy and its implication for India. Very quickly, not detailed.
Yes, sir. So three major challenges post the COVID-19 pandemic. So firstly, currently is the challenge of inflation because of...
Inflation, what?
Yes, sir. So second challenge is a potential recession or a slowdown.
Recession.
That might come up, sir.
Third?
And thirdly, sir, the trade levels are slowing down, which is affecting exports.
Which means some kind of anti-globalization trend.
Yes, sir. To some extent, globalization, the pace of
Again,
globalization.
very quickly, 10 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Why we have been saying that India will defy the global trend? What is that divine blessing that we have?
So the biggest blessing that India has in this regard is that consumption demand accounts for 58% of our GDP.
But is the consumption really increasing?
So domestic consumption has been increasing because there is a lot of pent-up demand, particularly after the COVID.
Pent-up demand cannot be taken as long-term increasing trend. You know that. Pent-up is a very temporary phenomenon.
Yes, sir.
And our demand started dropping even before COVID.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the consumption started dropping.
Yes, sir.
All right, what else?
Also, capital expenditure pushed by the government. That is also
by the government, but capex by the private sector is dropping.
Yes, sir. So for that, the initiative.
So the more attractive features of a good economy, there we are slightly behind the curve.
Yes, sir. We need that is certainly true. Private investment needs to pick up in India, and I'm really hopeful that it will pick up in the coming
years. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Prashant, you mentioned that you have been in 6 cities.
Yes, sir.
Delhi, Surat, next?
Sir, Delhi, Surat, Mumbai, Hisar, Vadodara and Goa, where my college was.
Okay. So, Hisar we can leave. Others are very close to metros.
Yes, sir.
As a good exposure and experience, which city you like most and why?
So I think all of the cities have been instrumental in my personal growth. No, but if I had to choose...
This is not that way.
Yes,
you have to.
Okay, sir. Sir, I would go for Delhi because I spent my 6th to 12th class period in Delhi. And at the same time, I am currently serving in Delhi also in a service which is Delhi based. So Delhi, I would go for Delhi, sir.
You are a student of economics.
Yes, sir.
𝐒𝐢𝐫 wrote plenty on Pune, Bangalore, on their cities, their sewer system, their waste disposal. Have you heard 𝐒𝐢𝐫?
Yes, sir. I have read some of 𝐒𝐢𝐫's ma'am article in Indian Express also.
Regularly?
Yes, sir.
And recently there is one more book by Varun Gandhi, Metropolis. Again, don't you feel that Delhi is the worst pollution level? Every problem. Now, recently there was a survey that which 10 cities have been declared as the most polluted all over the world.
Yes, sir. So Delhi was there.
First 10 comes from India.
Yes, sir.
Can you name?
So some of the cities, the polluted cities that I am aware of from India were Delhi, Gurugram, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Muradabad. So these are the names I can recall right now.
Even Gwalior.
All right, sir.
Patna, Lucknow. Now come to Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Now you are working here. Okay,
yes,
we will focus on that.
Yes, sir.
Only. Population is not a problem. That can be, if you utilize. How to clean this? Everybody claim we will make it Shanghai or this or that. What action plan should be there?
So, I don't think Delhi is the worst amongst this. So, Delhi has its problems, but I believe every metro city has its share of problems. So, coming to the improvement of Delhi, since I'm also in the administration, one big problem in Delhi is that there are too many authorities. There are multiplicity of authorities in Delhi, which leads to coordination problems. So, one step which can be taken practically is having task force, like we have district task force, to bring all the authorities together and ensure that common goals are met. Second, sir, I think there is also a need for citizen education, particularly when it comes to the problem of waste, which you mentioned, because waste is not segregated at source and it goes to landfills like Ghazipur, Bhalaswa, etc., which leads to further pollution.
Out of these 6 cities, Bangalore I am aware,
Yes, sir.
Pune has beginning. Why we can't start that? Where are you posted currently?
So, I am having my training right now. My training institute is in East Delhi,
Yes,
Karkarduma.
Delhi, I know that,
Yes,
but
sir.
not yet posted.
Not posted.
So, but
also.
why we can't the waste disposal, the dry, wet, the way Bangalore, Pune has started? Why we can't start?
So I think we can start it, but there are some problems which are coming up. So one of the biggest problem is that waste is not being segregated at source. So there is a lack of education among citizens. Secondly, sir, another problem which is there in Delhi is that the capacity to compost as well as...
Can you raise this issue in your training? Suppose you are posted in East Delhi or anywhere, and if you want to start, whose permission you will require?
Certainly,
Can't
sir.
Can't you start as SDM?
So certainly I would like to raise the issue, but this is mainly in the domain of MCD.
So again you are shifting to MCD.
Yes, sir.
So every authority and MCD will shift to some other local authority,
Yes,
and
sir.
CM will shift to LG, isn't it? Don't you feel that this is the major problem? How many cities we have metro now?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the exact number of
Because
metro
that's
cities.
also one of the solution for metro. And how many kilometers in Delhi?
Pardon, sir, how many?
Metro kilometers in Delhi, Delhi metro.
So Delhi metro is of 390 kilometers in Delhi approximately.
Okay. You must have visited some historical places also in Delhi.
Yes, sir, I have.
Which one you have?
Sir, I visited lots of historical places. 𝐒𝐢𝐳𝐠𝐡 tomb I visited. I visited 𝐻𝐂 Fort recently. And sir, I've also been...
Why 𝐻𝐂 is famous and how historical?
So 𝐻𝐂 was built during Tughlaq time and it also has tomb of Firoz Shah Tughlaq there.
Firoz Shah Tughlaq.
Yes,
What
sir.
was his period?
So Firoz Shah Tughlaq was in 14th century. As far as I can recall, from around 1350 to 1380. But sir, I'll have to check back on this.
Okay, now just last. The Surat.
Yes,
Now Surat in 94, just after a plague, that was considered one of the cleanest city. But now Indore is in the race for last 5 years. Why? Why decline of Surat? You have been there.
Yes, sir. So Surat still is amongst the cleanest cities. I think as per the index, Swachh Bharat mission index that we have related to the cleanliness, it's on 2nd or 3rd. But sir, the reason why Indore has gone ahead is that, sir, in Surat recently a lot of construction activities have been happening. So the construction and demolition waste management is relatively poorer in Surat. Secondly, sir, I think the plastic waste management is also one big issue.
What are the things you did since morning today?
What are the?
What 3 things you did since morning?
You did since morning today?
Yes, sir. Sir, since morning, the first thing I did, I took my bath, freshen up, then had milk and breakfast. And on my way, sir, for the mock interview, I also read the newspaper of the day.
Now, why do you think in the morning you need a breakfast?
So breakfast is considered as the most important meal of the day because, sir, in the morning when we wake up, we have been fasting for almost 10 to 12 hours. So our body needs energy, because of which breakfast is a very important meal, sir.
You talked about fasting. When we are fasting, or if we go for a prolonged fast, what happens in the body?
Sir, I'm not very familiar with how the fast has an impact on the body. But it is said that fasting helps in the cleansing of body. But sir...
That's for 1 day or 2 days, you give a rest to the system.
Yes, sir.
But on long terms, when say people are on 30 days fast or Gandhiji was 45 days fast, they say the first bad symptom is that you have uric acid and creatinine in the urine. You know what happens? Any guess?
So the biological mechanism?
Yeah.
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the biological
Now tell me,
mechanism.
the food that you take, what do you understand by the balanced diet?
So balanced diet is very important for body's growth. It should be balanced in terms of macro as well as micronutrients.
What are those?
So macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, fats and fiber, whereas micronutrients include vitamins and minerals like vitamin A, B, C.
Now you love only veg food.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that non-veg food is different from a veg food? What are the reasons?
Sir, I am vegetarian by choice as I've grown up that way.
Otherwise, I am not discussing your food choice.
Yes, sir.
But why a non-veg food and veg food are different?
So non-veg food usually involves consumption of some animal or some species, which makes it a little different.
Animal food is different from the vegetarian food. Why?
Yes, sir. Sir, in India, some of the animal-derived products are also considered vegetarian, like milk is. But at the same time, non-vegetarian food usually involves some level of killing of an animal, which is not there in the case of milk. So that's why I think some distinction is drawn.
No, but nutritionally, what is the difference?
Yes, sir. So one of the biggest differences is the protein content, which is much more in the non-vegetarian food compared to vegetarian food.
So do you think that taking vegetarian food is the compromise with the intake of protein?
Sir, to some extent that is true, but even in a vegetarian diet, proteins can be incorporated. There are dishes like soya bean, lentils, even dairy products like paneer, curd, milk. All of these have sufficient proteins. But one issue is that these are not lean proteins, so the calorie content is significantly more for the same amount of proteins.
Now, the internal makeup of the human body, what do you think? It is suited to be more on vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism?
So I think as we have evolved over the course of time, our internal makeup, we have eaten meat for quite some time, so we are suited to non-vegetarian food also.
Now, what are the changes there are? What are the differences there are between a carnivore and a herbivore?
So carnivores only consume meat, whereas...
No, there must be some way on which they start eating, then digesting.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the change in the physiology of a carnivore or the body system of a carnivore with that of a herbivore?
Sir, I am only familiar with a few things. One particular thing is canines are more developed in the case of carnivores compared to herbivores. And most herbivores consume grass, so they have a system where that can be digested, which is not the case for carnivores. But sir, I am not familiar with that.
What is that system that herbivores have, those who eat grass? You see that the herbivores are, most of them are masticating.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is that system like?
Sir, I am not familiar with the system, but I think there is an activity called rumination which is linked with it.
Do we also ruminate?
No, sir, humans don't.
So we are herbivore or a carnivore?
Sir, we are omnivores. Yes, sir.
Prashant.
Good morning, sir.
The name is very interesting. Prashant Mahasagar, Pacific Ocean.
Yes, sir.
Now, please tell me about Indo-Pacific. What is it? And what is the significance of it in relation to India?
Yes, sir. So Indo-Pacific is the region which is a term which is used for region including the Indian Ocean as well as Pacific Ocean, and it includes major economies of the world. So Indo-Pacific is a significant thing for India because the use of the term Indo in this denies that India is gaining importance as a country. Secondly, sir, the region is also a region where China has been trying to gain influence. So by aligning with like-minded countries, India is also trying to achieve its strategic objectives in the region and aligning on different levels, which include strategic, defense partnership, economic partnership, etc. And initiatives like Quad have also come up, which are quite specific to the Indo-Pacific region.
What is AUKUS?
So AUKUS is an organization which comprises of Australia, UK and US, and this organization also came up because there was strategic alignment between these three countries on certain matters. But so this organization led to resentment in France particularly.
Prashant, you are in DENIX.
Yes, sir.
So now tell me, what do you understand by good governance and what are the challenges we have with regard to good governance?
So good governance is a governance, in my opinion, which is citizen friendly, responding to the needs of the citizen. And at the same time, so good governance needs to be transparent. Good government should ensure that the problems in the society are responded in a quick manner. And good governance should also be about easy coordination and dedication amongst the public servants. So there are some challenges which come up with respect to good governance in India, in my opinion. So firstly is the red tapeism that we see in the governance structure. Red tapeism leads to slow decision making, which impedes development works. Secondly, sir, is also the issue of corruption, which is seen in India, because that leads to wastage of public resources, which can be positively utilized for productive activities. These are some of the challenges, sir.
In past few years, have you seen any changes in red tapeism and corruption in the society, in the government sector for that matter? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? It is controlled. Now we are in a better position.
So as far as my understanding and observation goes, I certainly think we are in a better position now. And one of the biggest reasons for that is the digitization and the use of technology that has come up. So technology has led to a lot of transparency, which is improving things. So for example, we can take even the railway ticket booking. Earlier, when it was done physically, there was some corruption involved there also. But now with digitization, it has become very easy for citizens, very transparent.
Good point. Ajay, tell me now, why do you take up any job? To earn livelihood, right?
Yes, sir.
So in job, money is required. Slowly in the career, you progress. So career growth is also there. With career growth, you get prestige associated with any position or associated with any job, and you also derive power out of it.
Yes, sir.
Suppose these are the four things: money, prestige, career growth, and power. How do you prioritize them from your point of view? Which comes on top, which comes at the bottom?
Sir, out of the four aspects that you have mentioned, I would probably go for career growth first, because that gives me a lot of satisfaction to come up with new opportunities in my career and ensure that I do well. It is also a way for me to know how I have been performing. So second, I would probably go with prestige, although it's not very important for me, but still being recognized for the work I'm doing, that gives some happiness and will also incentivize me to work better in future. So thirdly, I won't strongly believe in money and power, but I'd probably go with power, because power is again not a negative term in my opinion. Power is also power to change things. So if I have that kind of authority, I would like to do something which can change people's life in a positive manner. And so fourth, I would go for money out of
money
this.
automatically follows.
No, sir, I won't necessarily say that.
No, what I mean to say is every job has got a money. I mean,
of course, sir. Of course.
Okay. Now, last question. What is green hydrogen mission? What do you understand by green hydrogen, and how it is going to help us in energy change scenario?
So green hydrogen mission has been the focus of government in the recent budget also, where 19,000 crore rupees were allocated for it. So green hydrogen is production of hydrogen, that is separating water to produce hydrogen and oxygen using renewable energy sources, so as to ensure that it's non-polluting. So sir, hydrogen is a source of energy, and if the mission goes well, one of the best things that can happen for India is that our demand for petroleum can decrease, which can also lead to saving of foreign exchange resources. So that is one positive associated with green hydrogen. And secondly, sir, it is also a non-polluting source, which can also ensure our compliance with our environmental targets and lead to resolution of the pollution problems that we have been facing.
What are the challenges? How do we use in the transport? How do we use in the railways?
So to use it in the transport, it can be combined with CNG. Recently, the concept of HCNG has come up, which was implemented in Delhi for the first time. And so the challenges which are there is that it requires a lot of capital expenditure, which is one big challenge we are facing. But I think with the government push, we can help, that issue can be resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Prashant, very good. So your interview is over.